Today I have with me Kimmy Smith from the Fit Mummy Project. Hey Kimmy.
Hello, how are you?
Good. I've been dying to get Kimmy in because you would all be familiar with her wonderful and simple exercises that she shares, not just within her own beautiful app, but she's been such a wonderful support for Kiindred, being able to help support new parents understanding how they can introduce exercise and when. So today I would love to ask you a few questions around, I guess, when is it safe to start introducing exercise after you've had a little one?
So after you've given birth, I actually advocate starting almost the next day.
Wow.
Not in the gym, of course, but with really simple breathing exercises. So starting to find that connection to pelvic floor, often whether we've given birth via cesarean or natural birth, that connection in the neural pathways to the pelvic floor might be disrupted or damaged, or the pelvic floor might just feel really sluggish and weak. So simply by breathing and just noticing whether you can feel that connection on the exhale, which really we start doing that like day one, and it's just breathing and it's just finding that internal support. The other two things I really recommend doing straight away are just noticing your posture. So how you're sitting to feed, how you're standing, how you're walking, how you're holding the baby, all will impact how your core and pelvic floor recover. And if we're not standing well and breathing well, then we're not giving our pelvic floor and core the best chance to recover. And then I guess the other thing is just to slowly introduce very gentle core exercises, because we are doing a lot of core work in those early days. Motherhood is such a physical job, as you would know.
You do underestimate it.
You underestimate it, and you're carrying a weight often for like 12, 14, 16 hours a day. You're carrying a baby. So postural exercises to open the chest, strengthen the back, strengthen the core are all really important, and it's just doing them safely in a way that makes you feel really supported. And
interesting you say about starting it from the very beginning, because I do remember sort of those first few days you notice, everything's changed quite dramatically. You are trying to establish feeding. When you say introduce those breathing exercises, is there perhaps a ritual we should follow? Should this be during feeding perhaps, or is it just taking a moment while the baby's asleep to just do that on your own to really focus on your body? And
yeah, I think you can definitely start to incorporate it as you get more established with your feeding, but in the early days, finding that latch, it's so quite busy. Stressful feeding. Yeah. So I recommend the baby sleeps a lot, hopefully.
They do in
those first few weeks. So take the time, because breathing, especially deep breathing, will help to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, that rest, digest, recovery. So and also I really recommend doing pelvic floor and core in those early days, lying on your back, to take away the effects of gravity.
Yeah. So
let's just do it while we're not concentrating on trying to get that good established feeding with our baby, and just have set it aside as 10, 15 minutes just for you. And hopefully we keep that moving throughout motherhood.
It's so important. And I love what you say about the posture as well, because that's something I wasn't prepared for. I think the first few weeks you're on a bit of a high, you know, loving that baby, you just, focusing on feeding and sleeping. And I remember, I think it was 6 weeks in or so, all of a sudden my back went. And I thought, wow, I must be slouching or doing something wrong while I was feeding. So do you say usually make sure that you set up a really great feeding area, that you are supported, and do pillows help?
Pillows help. It's really hard. I say it all the time. Just make sure that you're sitting evenly on both sit bones, that your core is just lightly engaged, that your shoulders are stacking. And then once you have that latch, hop off Instagram, hop off looking at the baby, looking up. So watching TV is probably a much better thing to do, or even just take the time to rest. And pillows to support the weight of the baby. But having had 3 kids myself, I know that it is just so comforting just to relax and slump like this, especially in the middle of the night. So if you feel really exhausted, then maybe if you can, even feed lying down on your side, because at least you're not in that slump position. Because this is just, maybe if we do it for 10, 15 minutes in a day, fine. But if we're sitting constantly like this, and then we're changing like this. So to counteract that, some really beautiful chest opening, maybe some back strengthening, just grabbing a towel, just pulling back, just to open up that front of our body is all, it makes a difference, all of it together.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's something I certainly regret not doing sooner, because I've been telling everyone I meet, that third baby really did push my body over the edge. I mean, I was getting to a point where standing alone was making me feel really sore in the lower back.
Yeah.
So I think anyone that can maintain that exercise, yes, through pregnancy, but definitely, like you say, post-birth, even if it is gentle, will make all the difference.
Yeah.
And something else you mentioned about the posture, I know that, that witching hour at the end of the day, and you are trying to cook dinner or do whatever with the baby on the hip. I know that I personally used a baby carrier. Is that something you would recommend that would be a good, useful tool to keep an even balance?
Yes. Baby carriers are awesome because they distribute the weight of the baby evenly, so they get you out of that hip jutting position. The only time I don't recommend baby carrier is if you are experiencing heaviness or dragging in the pelvic floor, maybe incontinence, and that extra weight of the baby on you is making those symptoms worse. Myself, I have experienced prolapse and incontinence, and I didn't feel comfortable wearing the baby carrier for extended periods.
Right.
This third pregnancy.
Yeah.
Or third recovery. So I had an indoor pram that I put my baby in.
Oh, yeah.
And she loved that. So, it's just whatever works for you. But if you feel really good in the carrier, yeah, definitely.
Okay, good to know. And in terms of walking, do you find that walking is also a really important exercise? I know I wanted to get out of the house.
Yeah. It's funny. I really have been diving into this fourth trimester, first 12 weeks or at least 6 weeks, just staying home a lot and getting to know the baby, getting to recover and rest. But sometimes you need to get out and about and get that fresh air, and it can make such a difference to mental health. It's something that's so simple, and it's just, I guess the most important thing is you just listen to your body and what you need. And sometimes we just need that break. We need to get out of the house, get ourselves a coffee or a muffin or whatever it is, It's not a time,
coffee for me.
It's not a time to, that fourth trimester, but especially the first 6 weeks, isn't a time for a lot of discipline, focusing on weight loss or anything like that. It's a time to nourish yourself and do what's best for you and your baby.
100% agree. Thank you so much, Kimmy. I hope you found that extremely useful. And there are plenty of articles in the app, and also Kimmy's amazing simple exercise videos for you to dive into. So I hope you enjoy, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, Emmy. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Kimmy.